BN, everyone, and welcome to another episode of FOMO Hour. Today is Wednesday, 8, 2025. Gold, green, and making you all stocks and get our internet are red. And we're asking, is this just a classic correction on a bigger grind up, or are there real causes for concern? Going to break it all down on today's show. No Farouk, he is out today, but we've got Mando in the house. Mando, GM, how you doing?
GM, I'm doing great. How are you, man?
Doing well. And although we are red, it looks like we are rebounding off of yesterday's lows. It was a pretty violent shakeout yesterday. Maybe I was just too bowled up after 6 green days in a row.
Yeah, I mean, I continue to think that we're not going to have some like super easy Q4 rally. As I kind of said yesterday, I think like the 4-year cycle just means that people will sell.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think we're going to be it's going to be in a good spot though. Like I'm bullish here, though I am not like 100x leverage bullish. And it also did feel, as classically is the case, everyone was calling for, risk off, we're going lower, like cycles over 108K, and then 122K, everyone was just piling into BNB memes. And I can understand like the frothiness there. Majors don't look that frothy to me, apart from maybe BNB.
Mm-hmm.
Like BNB looks like, okay, maybe I should have a red day at some point in the future. But other than that, yeah, like it feels like ETH's in a good spot. Like I think ETH's going to break through all-time high pretty soon. And Solana still looks a little bit soft. I think probably this move towards BNB has slightly hurt it.
Yeah, and we'll get into them all here in a second. I will say I was promised the easy road, and that's why I'm a little upset.
I came to the show yesterday and I told you I was doing one trade. What was the fucking trade that I said I was doing? I said I was buying Zcash 105.
I'm in.
You in?
We're Zcash brothers.
It was Zcash brothers then. It's now 146. We're up 9% since then.
I didn't get a great entry. I think I got 140-ish.
Okay.
And then, but where we're going, I'm not going to sweat 140 versus 135.
Exactly.
Part of the reason why I got in is you gave the pitch, and then others have pitched it. But then someone on my timeline was comparing it to Bitcoin, and how Bitcoin's big run was in its like 2 cycles in. And like, okay, people on the timeline are legitimately copying this to Bitcoin. Like maybe it's time to get a little position in this.
I mean, I put a thing out today, which is like, what's your most bullish narrative right now? And privacy coins was definitely the least. I think everyone's bullish on Asta, or like there's a lot of people bullish on Hyper Asta, and like there's a lot of people in those trades. There's a lot of people in the prediction market, at least farming element of it, I would say. And then I think there's a lot of people bullish on just meme coins. I put brand coins on there, but I do think it's a narrative which like not the trenches don't own in like any way. It's only really OGs who own it. So, and that can be bad because they're just going to dump on you, and I'm fully expecting to get dumped on the way up. But I do think it's got a unique narrative. So I think there's a chance that is enough for it to be in a good spot basically. It is a fork of Bitcoin, so it has the same proof of work, consensus mechanism, miners, all this sort of stuff. All transactions are basically, I think it's like 16 other transactions they're kind of put in with. So it's zero knowledge. You don't know who actually did the transaction. Imagine it's like each transaction is done into Tornado Cash essentially. And I think that's just could be quite bullish. Just as I look at like the narratives for the next 12 months, and I see the other side of this, which is like, oh, we're going to have a lot of people really bullish about TradFi coming in. There's going to be another side of this, which is like, no, fuck this.
Yeah.
And I think ETH, interestingly, Vitalik's very bullish on privacy as well. Like he's always been talking about this for ETH, and that there'll be a privacy future, zero knowledge future for ETH as well. I don't know if he'll be like almost allowed to do it, because ETH is just going to be so. It's going to be so institutional, let's say, but I don't know how many of the other big L1s will go down this like privacy route. I haven't heard of anything on Solana, but when there's a problem, people do try to solve it. But zero knowledge is generally the way that people DK is normally the way that people try and do it. So,
and not a whole lot of ways to really express that bet. So it makes sense, and I'm sure we'll continue to talk about it. I do want to tee up the show. We kind of just dove right into some conversation here. We do have a lot of topics. We'll start with the market report. Sell-off and rebound, gold booming, Bitcoin lagging, the poly market raise. We hit it hard yesterday. I want to hit it once again here today, just for a little bit. Monad debuting pre-market, 15 billion. I think it's down a touch since then. We got to talk BNB season. It continues to heat up. Some of this meme explosion is just insane over there, and everyone's in profit apparently, besides me. So it's been hot over there.
What did you buy? You're still buying pups or whatever.
I sold my pup at a loss, and I caught a rug. One of the 1% of BNB memes that don't go to infinity. I somehow caught.
Oh, that's so incredible.
That's why I quit.
Okay.
Although I got back in one yesterday, so we're back in the game.
Okay.
So we'll talk about that. This X copy sells for $3.5 million, highest edition sale ever. And then back half of the show, last 10-15 minutes, we'll be talking to Jess Holgrave from Wallet Connect. Speaking of, shout out to our partner, Wallet Connect. Wallet Connect powers billions in volume monthly across wallets, apps, users, and institutions. That blue logo, it's everywhere. An icon of trust in crypto, as recognizable as Visa at the checkout. If you want to learn more, follow at Wallet Connect on X and Telegram to stay ahead of what's next. With that, Amanda, let's get into it.
Who is the man, macro daddy of the land? Can you dig it?
GM, everyone. So yeah, we are kind of bouncing back from what was a pretty painful, well, not that painful, but Bitcoin went down to like 122, 121, I think, 121. Now closer to 123. That's bounced back. Bitcoin dominance is still around 59%. So Bitcoin still feels like a good bet here, but if you went kind of down the risk curve, I think a lot of stuff fell out of bed. Things like Punk Strategy are down to 120. A lot of the Solana meme coins kind of got rugged. Pump is back down to 6 billion-ish. So it really just, if you followed the BNB train, I think you did okay. But other than that, I think a lot of other stuff kind of lost its shine slightly in this pullback. We continue to hit an all-time high in gold. This is kind of the number one narrative at the moment. In macro, gold smashed through $4,000. It's up 50% now on the year. And this is the same trade that should be making Bitcoin go to the moon. But it's the idea that money printing is coming back, like the fiscal conservatism that people slightly expected from Trump is kind of going out the window. And we are probably heading to a world of higher rates and less fiscal prudence for a while here. So yeah, people are getting very bullish on gold and other hard assets as a way to deal with this. So that's been the main thing. Obviously, at the same time, the stock market's not doing terribly. It did have a slightly weak day yesterday. There was some sort of like bearish report on the idea that Oracle would not be making as much money from NVIDIA as initially thought. Basically, NVIDIA is doing deals with a ton of different people. It's all a bit incestuous at the moment in the top of AI. People are getting a little bit worried about it. There was a deal even yesterday that OpenAI is now putting a $2 billion stake into, that NVIDIA is putting a $2 billion stake into XAI in return for chips. So it's this weird situation where like XAI will pay NVIDIA for the chips, who then turn around and invest it straight back into XAI. So no money really changes hands. It's like this. It's a slightly weird play, but NVIDIA itself now has large shareholdings in a number of different AI companies, essentially. And on the result of both of these deals, everyone's stock price seems to go up. So this is kind of why people are thinking it's a little bit of a bubble, because it feels very circular at times. Some of these deals being done, but yeah, there was a slight retracement just because of that report about Oracle not making as much as people thought it was. But gold continued to go higher this week. This week, I don't think we have that much, if I'm honest. I think there's a few Fed speeches, but nothing that massive. So yeah, pretty chill from here in terms of what could blow us off from macro.
There's really not much with the government shutdown. There's probably not much.
Yeah, I hadn't seen anything. Like I looked at the calendar this week and I didn't see anything. I didn't put two and two together. That was probably to do with the government shutdown. But yeah, I don't think there's much right now. That's still like an ongoing thing. Like Trump's dialing up the pressure about like they will even pay back pay if they don't come back, this sort of stuff. So yeah, let's see. Hopefully that gets resolved. In crypto, yeah, it's like I just said, it's just been the one that bounced back here is Bitcoin. If you look at the Bitcoin chart, it has barely moved. It kind of just went from 125 to 123, and everything fell out of bed pretty quickly. But the market still looks okay to me here.
Yeah,
it's all over. I thought I saw Wizard of Soho say, "If this is the top," and I was like, "Brother, if this is the top, we're really doing that." Bitcoin dropped 2%. If this is the top.
What's so funny is I feel like the market makers, the people at power, saw the memes going around. We pulled it up yesterday, right? That October 6th was the high, the all-time high cycle. And then here we go, October 7th, 5% dump. Bitcoin goes 126 to below 121. And everyone got to, all the bears got to briefly victory lap that. Now grinding back up.
Zcash going to the moon, you know.
Is it live going to the moon? Where are we at here on this? 149.
149. Jesus. Why are they still fading me?
Privacy season. So we like that move quite a bit. So I want to talk about Bitcoin for a minute. I don't know if folks saw this, a couple of the stats around the ETFs. So another 875 million in net inflows, 5.3 billion in the last 7 sessions.
Wow.
And Eric Balkunas tweeted this morning, IBIT is number 1 in weekly flows among all ETFs. And it has 10% of all the net flows into the entire ETF sector right now. That doesn't feel like it's just going to be like a one-time thing, and then we're just going to totally reverse course. To me,
I think we need this because I think there's been some big sellers, like historic Satoshi wallet style sellers or big Japanese mining wells who are selling as well. So you would normally assume that Bitcoin would be going to 150K. And clearly TradFi believes that's happening. TradFi believes that Bitcoin will follow gold. And I think some of the OG crypto community are like, no, this is it. 4 years, we're done. You know, that's what I think it's going to be for the next 2 or 3 months. If you're selling in 3 months, I think the majority of the 4-year cycle selling will basically happen in Q4 or like has started to already happen. You know what I mean? We saw some wallets in August and in September, big dormant wallets be like, hey, I'm going to clip out of here like 20 billion. And I think we're going to continue to see that probably up until about December time. And then if you were trying to sell for the 4-year cycle, then you're kind of comfortably past that. So then you start to realize, oh, maybe there isn't a 4-year cycle. And that's when I think we really can start to move probably. You're muted. You're muted, brother.
Apologies for that. Thanks for walking us through that. The big sellers are clearly still there. Eventually, we are going to work through them. I do wonder if that is going to continue to be a bigger part of the challenge for ETH compared to Bitcoin. I think part of the bull case for Bitcoin exploding up further is that we have chewed through most of these whales, but it doesn't seem like we are there just yet. By any means. I thought this other tweet was interesting. Let me pull this up from Matthew Schultz. And I'm going to get the screen share fired up for the first time. My apologies, folks. I was in a new browser today. Matthew Schultz just finished a small dinner with Secretary Bessent and Chairman Scott. We talked market structure bill. We talked about the economy. We talked Bitcoin and the strategic Bitcoin reserve. The U.S. holds about 17 billion in Bitcoin and will not sell and plan to continue to accumulate. He goes on to say a little bit more. I'm curious if you've given any more thought to the U.S. strategic Bitcoin reserve. It was all the hype, back in March, and then we kind of wrote it off. We talked about delta neutral ways they could do it. I think a few things have changed since then. One, China, the BRICS countries leaning so heavily into gold. And then two, the U.S. has started taking stakes in companies. So 6 months ago, it felt absurd that taxpayer money would go towards buying Bitcoin. It feels a little less absurd.
I don't think it's going to buy Bitcoin, but I do think it could mine Bitcoin and it could take stakes in Bitcoin miners potentially. That would not surprise me. Now, what is generally done is taking stakes in like troubled firms. There is a world where it takes stakes in that, of which MicroStrategy could be one, but like I don't think that's happening. My gut is that it would probably take stakes in miners, and my guess, just if I was a miner, this would be for some form of like energy credit or subsidy that basically it was like a JV essentially, where like you get your energy from Texas, or I don't know where the majority of the miners are from, but yeah, you're going to get your energy from somewhere, and then we'll give you a state subsidy to do that. These are essentially energy companies,
right?
Or like their power. Like you could very easily do a deal with them.
Yeah, and that makes sense. That seems an easier path for it to happen.
The Trumps have got American Bitcoin, right, as well, right? They've got like a vehicle here, which
and the deployer of the Trump token, this quick side, is trying to raise $200 million for a Trump coin DAT. So let's hope that's not the first DAT they take a stake in.
There's a lot of Trump DATs, if you've looked. Not a lot.
Oh, are there more? I guess I haven't seen a whole lot of the Trump DATs.
Oh yeah, that happened. Yeah,
makes sense. There's the Doge DAT is looking to expand. They're still going. The DAT trade is still alive. Bitminer, we talked about a little bit. Bitminer has been grinding up. Though I'm sure it took a hit here yesterday. Well, I want to keep going. We talked Polymarket in pretty big depth yesterday. I don't want to rehash that entire conversation. But I am. So the headline, if folks missed yesterday's show, Polymarket valued at $9 billion after the New York Stock Exchange owner ICE Intercontinental Exchange invests up to $2 billion. Arguably a bigger part of the story is they are going to distribute Polymarket data, effectively Polymarket markets, across their entire distribution ecosystem. So we're effectively going to see Polymarket markets streaming alongside stocks and other asset prices, which does feel pretty significant. I'm curious what I'm going to take from a trading perspective. So they're valued at $9 billion. Do you think a token is coming in the next year, or does this deal kind of muddy that a bit? And then if so, where do you think a potential Polymarket token would land?
Oh, that's a very good question. I don't even know how Polymarket makes money. But like, it's very difficult to judge that without knowing it kind of feels like a blur situation where it's, oh, don't worry, we'll make money. Don't worry about it. That fee switch is going on some point. Maybe in the billions. I would think. I don't know if it's a slam dunk because it's not like a perp dex, in my opinion, which make money because everyone's fucking degenning and 1,000x leverage. Like this is a bit more balanced. So the only real way they make fees, and if they turn on fees, like they're really in this massive fight against Kalshi, right? So it's who blinks first, really, on that.
I would love for someone to come explain to me how Polymarket makes money specifically, because I also don't know. And I've heard a few roundabout ways that perhaps they earn yield on,
Yeah, so it does charge. This is right. Polymarket charges a 2% fee on all winning trades at settlement, but it also seeds a lot of the liquidity. So there's this idea that like it's volume. It's only the winning trades as well, not all trades. Let's see.
Interesting. I mean, from a token perspective, I mean, I do kind of feel like this investment does muddy the waters on a token launch to a degree, but they've clearly teased that it's coming at some point. I don't think it's coming in 2025. It is a unicorn effectively, so we don't really have this sector in crypto. So I think that gives it higher potential upside. And Kix came out and said he thinks it would open at 20 billion. I think that's probably where I'm around. I think if it was at 9, I think people would buy it.
Yeah.
On the gun. I think they'd buy it pretty hard at 9. Or certainly anywhere lower. But also, are we going to need some kind of buyback mechanism? Like how will the token actually work?
We always need a buyback, man. We always need a buyback.
No buyback, we ain't buying in Q4 2025. So we'll continue to talk about Polymarket and prediction markets as this show continues. Certainly huge news there. Big news out of Monad. So the Monad token officially live on pre-market trading on Hyperliquid. This I was not expecting this one. Looks like it opened kind of discounting the first few minutes of trading. It opened as high as 20 billion, then kind of settled around 15 billion FDV. Now it's kind of grinding down at 12.8. They did tease that effectively anyone who got those Monad cards is perhaps going to get some Monad tokens. So hopefully you did go and claim that when they launched a couple months
ago. Selling pre-market for like 30 grand, I thought I had 20-30 grand.
Those cards have?
Yeah, I saw a post from somebody today. Like, is it true that the Ethos guys have built some sort of pre-market thing?
They have a broker. They just rolled out Ethos Broker.
Right. I think
more trusted OTC effectively. All right.
That's what I've seen. Like some trading there.
Very interesting.
Yeah. I don't know.
Check that out. I'm very interested. If anyone would like to buy my Monad card for $30,000, please DM me and we can chat.
What's your view on Monad?
I said last week that my interest level in Monad on a spectrum of 1 to 10 was at 1 because what should I be excited about? I don't know anything about this.
That's a card holder right there, people.
I want to delete this footage before the airdrop, but like what apps are there? I know VCs put a lot into this and it's going to be fast. It's going to be a fast blockchain. But like
I've seen mixed takes on it over the last 24 hours. Just like, no, these guys built it from scratch and all that sort of stuff. I get it. I also think that we saw this with other coins, which have kind of they've got a great culture. I don't know. Like Berachain would be another example. Some of these like more recent, like more culture-based chains, Abstract, you could even say, for example, like they haven't quite hit full stride when it comes to TVL. Like you need killer apps, like you've just said, on the chain for it to really get going. And this idea of like more dApps being the thing driving the chain has been pretty obvious for a while here after Hyperliquid. But then that goes down to other things like we've just seen with BNB, with Asta, and some of these other things that BNB have done from a DeFi perspective. So I agree with you that Monad needs to start releasing a bunch of apps which are suddenly going to get very popular for this to. You can't just be like it's fast and it has good culture, because that hasn't really worked out.
I think Mega ETH is facing the same, right? And I love Bread, and I think that they're trying to build something cool over there. They had a lot of momentum early. Bread was doing the media tour. They released that game. They started touting some apps, and then it's kind of been silent over the last 3-4 months. Now I have similar questions like what is going to be coming with Mega ETH? And I don't really have a great answer to that either. I saw Rev comment market valuing at 40% over Polymarket. Yeah, absolutely. I'm not saying that I think it's worth zero. I'm just at 12 billion. If that's where it comes out, like I'm not super interested in buying it at 12 billion personally. I would at least need to know a little bit more about what it is, what it has, what people are gonna do on Monad. Do we have? I mean, it's probably not even on DeFi Llama. Is it? Yeah, I'm not even sure if I even see it. Do we have any metrics for it at all? No. All right. So we'll see. But clearly a pretty big debut and a hedging opportunity for anyone who has tokens coming already, who perhaps was involved. We got to talk BNB season a bit here. We talked about it yesterday, but it's certainly not over. BNB effectively at all-time high, even on a red day in crypto, 1303 right now. I saw Cake was the top mover on the 24-hour at one point. Well, now Zcash at 150 is back up top for the privacy boys. But it is clearly BNB season. This tweet from Bubble Maps went, this is full on viral, 1.2 million views. But 100,000 on-chain traders into BNB memes, and 70% are in profit. And just some crazy profit figures here. And I joked at the beginning of the show that I'm not in that 70%. So I'm in the 30% out of profit somehow. We're in an ecosystem where you literally could have thrown darts at coins and made tens of thousands of dollars. So follow me for more BNB trading advice. Some wild moves. I don't know if folks saw this. So BSC was a big runner on the day. And the volumes are just wild. So the Chinese symbol ticker. So this is Binance Life, I believe, is what these symbols stand for. It's at 380 million. It's 4 days old. So 0 to 380 in 4 days. It did 200 million volume yesterday. There's another Chinese ticker. I haven't translated this one yet. It's up 600%. Palu's up 70%. It's at 90 million. 4, which I believe is the meme launch pad, it's at 275. BSC was the new one yesterday. It's up 17,000%. It seems like more folks are starting to bridge over and try to trench on BNB, which does give me a little bit of hesitation. But I hesitated this weekend, and then everything legged up significantly. The other aspect of kind of what is happening, I don't know if I have the tweet handy, but YZ Labs, which is what CZ's investment arm, they're investing $1 billion into new builders in the BNB ecosystem. So it feels like this broader BNB China crypto wave it's kind of just getting started. It feels real, I guess is what I'm saying. Like, I don't know how long this meme season is going to last.
Yeah.
But this energy more broadly does feel like maybe it's more of an early wave than a late wave. I'm curious for your take on that.
Yeah, I'm bullish BNB. I think he's got a lot of ability now. He's going to take a very active role, it feels like, in building out these sort of apps and championing the apps that are going to be the biggest. Clearly, PancakeSwap is very linked to Binance, and that's dingling, right? But no, it's all Binance execs kind of, or ex execs at the head of Aster's all ex Binance too, right? Like there's going to be these sort of dApps which allow for, as we've said, like non KYC Binance for a ton of different things, and he's going to be in charge of that. I think the number one winner there is BNB. I think you can win quite big from that. Sometimes decentralization works, you know, particularly when you have such a huge vehicle behind it. So I hate to hear it, but I think it can outperform Solana for a while, and maybe other L1s. It just flipped XRP, right? So it's the third biggest crypto now.
ETH is in the crosshairs, right?
I don't think it's coming for ETH. That's my gut, is that ETH is a bit too far away. But there are other, like Solana is somewhat centralized, I would say too, in that it has generally been a more active participant in championing stuff. Like if on the scale of ETH to, let's say, something like Avalanche, right? Like Solana is somewhere in between. And BNB's, you know, I think close to the Avalanche sort of metrics of this, but I think they can do a lot. You'd like to think that if like Coinbase released Base, that they'd also be doing stuff like this, like really creating DEX champions to do the sort of stuff that people don't want to do on FX. So, and crypto is now legal. Like, seems like whatever happens goes. Feels like all investigations around KYC and money laundering, they're just like seen as witch hunts. So this is BNB's time.
Mm-hmm.
This is BNB's time. I really think it. I think it can keep
They're
going.
leaning in. They're doing a spaces here. I think Froke's joining here in an hour or so once he gets back. That's been another part of the notable shift, right? Is they're just all over the timeline, and CZ is he's driving it. This is the most active I've seen him. He's responding to Clemente videos. Like
he's a proper KOL. I said he's a bit James Winning-ish. Like he's all over. This is very conscious, though. You have to understand that CZ is not what has just happened. CZ didn't just like woke up one day and wanted to start tweeting. Right. He knows that he's probably done a deal with the DOJ. He knows he's been investing in Binance ecosystem projects for the last year. And now he can bring it together and basically drive everything home. So I think this is very conscious, very, very conscious from him.
It feels that way. And we'll have our astrology segment again tomorrow with Farouk.
I mean,
when he's back.
Are we looking at Zcash anymore?
Should we pull it back up? Why not? 152, up 12% on the day, leading all majors. Looks like clear bottom. Yeah, just below 130. It touched 128. That was your entry. Primed for the next leg up.
And everyone faded it. On this show. Put your hand up in the chats if you decide to tag along with Mando. Only Tyler did, I think.
Sure did. Sorry, Farouk. You can watch us go to 1,000 a coin.
He is gonna be furious. He's gonna be so furious.
Indeed.
Yeah, fade, faded. Yeah.
It's 3 billion SDV.
I'm on a generational run here, guys. Like you gotta.
Sometimes you just gotta suck it up and tail Mando.
You gotta trade the trader. You know.
Exactly.
No, you don't be trading Ansem right now.
Nice Ansem dig. Ansem flip-flopping at the local top was quite cinematic over the weekend, but maybe we'll save that for a separate conversation. We've got Jess in the studio. We'll get to Jess here in just a minute. Rounding out a few other quick headlines. We did have the edition sell for a package of about 3.5 million. So this was significant. We should just briefly chat about it. I'll try to pull up the tweet here. X copy last selfie. This is an addition of 2.6 million in cash plus a hoodie punk valued at around $900,000. So 3.5 million all in. These X copy is an X copy 101 holder. You have to feel pretty good about this.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, last selfie is pretty iconic. So there are one of ones that probably would trade lower than this, but
yeah, a lot lower. A lot lower. I'm surprised at this trade. Like, it makes the one of ones look very cheap, but yeah, this X copies. It's what I thought was very interesting. It was a hoodie punk as well. So somebody sat there with a hoodie punk and seen probably what's happening with punk strategy and come like, maybe we could be here for a bit again. And gone, right, I'm just going to go for the X copy, trade done.
Oh, man. Yeah, that is probably the right read. Punk strategy struggling again this morning. It looks like continued to grind down until we find a floor. It's holding at 125 million. So just clear sell-offs really across the past 3 days. We did have a new strategy yesterday with Pain Strategy, which is effectively the X copy. Looks like it's trading around 3 million right now. We did see several other of the NFT tokens sell off ahead of this, which did prompt founder Renatic to announce they're going to do 2 more this week, and then they're going to reevaluate the release schedule. So one major change, we may not be getting 5 new launches next week. He might start spacing those out, which was basically in response to a lot of feedback from the community and I think larger holders. So I think most folks are viewing that positively. We'll see. I mean, not a huge shock to see a 60%, 70% drawdown after such a meteoric run. But with so many folks kind of rooting for the downfall of this project and protocol, it's going to continue to be dicey, and expect louder FUD here until this one turns around. But we have 2 new launches coming. Check Strategy launches today, 12 p.m. Eastern. And then tomorrow will be Good Vibes Club. And then we don't know the schedule beyond that. So if you're interested in those 12 p.m. Eastern here today, I think that runs us through. Oh, I want to talk briefly. Yeet, big moments. Should we talk about it, or do you want to save that for tomorrow?
Yeah, so we're versus Legendary. And the modern market guys. The first round. If you go to bigmoments.xyz, you will see it all. We're giving away, it's going to be just over 150,000, I think, for this bit of it. And then we're giving out another 30, I think, or 1,000 for clips and aura in the chat, which is basically like highest multiple on certain games. So, but for example, we gave out 100% of our awards last time. I guess I'll have to speak for it when he's back, but I think it's likely that we would give out 100% again if we go through. But I think it goes 2K, 4K, maybe 10K, 15K, 20K, something like that. So like it really does pick up towards the end. So if you're under our ref code, FOMO has one of the biggest ref codes out there. This is the time. We will be doing it proportional, I think like we did last time. But I'll double confirm. So like highest volume will get the most. This will be separate to the randomized weekly winners we do. And yeah, if we win, we'll be sharing then I guess 51 or just over 50K with the community. All
right. So FOMO Hour affiliates, you heard it here first. It starts 12 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, I believe. So
yeah, I'll say shout out to Degenz. I give him a lot of crap, but he I'm whipping him to do things quicker.
He does a lot.
He has done incredibly well with this, and also if you've not checked out the new Yeeter Boards website, incredible work there as well.
We don't give Red Guys credit. Come on, Mando.
Yeah,
just real quick, got a shout out Morning Minute making the tournament.
Morning Minute is also there, yeah, versus Bodogos.
Yeah, a lovely first round match. So I love our draw. So I've already started rallying the boys.
It's 5 days this time. It's not a week. So we have, I think, until Monday, and it's the same format in that like we don't automatically go through. There'll then be a dice roll. So there's a little bit of an edge here. So even if like you're behind, it's not over until the fat lady sings, and by the fat lady I mean Ali rolls some dice, and and we see who wins. So it's all until that event.
Love it. So we'll make sure to announce it again tomorrow here ahead of the formal kickoff. But folks, you can look forward to that. All right. Well, we've got our guest here in the studio. I think it is time to bring her up.
After all.
Amanda, thank you very much. Folks, we've got Jess Holgrave in the studio. Jess, I'm picking up a little bit of the echo.
Oh, can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
Let me turn the volume down. That might help with the echo. How about that?
See. Yeah, I think that's gone now. That is perfect. CEO of Wallet Connect, Jess, how are you doing? Good morning.
I'm good. Thanks for having me back. It's so nice. This is always one that I love, so it's great to be here.
Well, Jess, you've got some exciting announcements to get into, and I want to do that. But maybe for our listeners who don't know you, maybe just give us a quick walk through a little bit about your journey. So you have a very interesting one.
Yeah, I mean, I've been at Wallet Connect now for just over 2 years. Wallet Connect, for people who don't know it, is a protocol that allows wallets and apps to connect and communicate with each other. It's been around since about 2018. Before that, I was at checkout.com, which is a payments company where I spent a lot of my time building crypto products. And before that, I was in the NFT space with a very, very early project focused on like tracking the provenance of artworks using NFTs. So it's been, I've been in kind of crypto full time now since end of 2015, and was hooked personally before that. So yeah, really, really love the space, and working with Wallet Connect is honestly just like such a privilege because every day I actually use it, and also every day I speak to people who use it and they give us feedback, sometimes good, sometimes bad, but it's really nice to work on something that is like such a core piece of infrastructure for the industry.
It is cool, and you all are rolling out new products and partnerships seemingly all the time. So maybe we dig in. So Wallet Connect recently announced TNB. So for those who may not be familiar, what exactly is that and why is it significant for the company?
Yeah, so when I first joined Wallet Connect, we were really, we had very limited understanding of who was using us and how Wallet Connect was being used. So we had some idea of the wallets that were on the network. Today, that's about 700 different wallets. We also had about 70,000 different projects that were on the network. And so we have, we've been interested in trying to understand the usage of the network for some time. And earlier this year, we started actually measuring the result of the on-chain transactions that took place when people were using Wallet Connect. And we uncovered really interesting data about which chains the most volume was being used on, which apps, which wallets. And today and over the last couple of weeks, we've been sharing some of this data that this year will do about $400 billion in network volume. And that's really, really exciting for us and really interesting for the industry, I think, to see exactly how much is happening.
And it looks like it's heavily okay. So I'm peering into the data here a little bit right now. So Ethereum mainnet is 77%. So a majority, but a lot of chains. So BNB 7%, Arbitrum 4%, Solana hanging out at 2%. Looks like DeFi top contributor, about 65% of the volume. I'm curious, which of these metrics stood out to you? What jumped out as you were kind of seeing this data for the first time? What may have surprised you?
I mean, so when I think about the chains, it's maybe less surprising. We've been present in the Ethereum ecosystem for a really long time, and just obviously that's where a lot of on-chain activity is at the moment. When I look at the different segments and categories, I actually find it much more interesting. DeFi, as we know, is such a prominent part of crypto and usage of crypto. So didn't probably surprise me that 65% of the activity and the TNB that we see on Wallet Connect is DeFi. Some of the interesting things, AI and agents is already at 1%, which I find pretty interesting. Obviously, it's very hot topic, but really cool to see that it's actually kind of being used. About $3 billion of volume we expect to go through AI this year. Always nice to see we have about 2% on memes and other stuff, which, as we know, is a core part of where crypto has come from. So good that is holding up. And I guess the other one that's really interesting for me, given that I've kind of like spent a bunch of time in the payment space, is that number is starting to creep up as well. And while it's still small, it's still under 1%. And when we dig into that, we're actually seeing that like month-on-month growth being very, very high, over 100% a month over the last few months. So this static view tells you one thing, but actually over time, and we'll share this more with the community, you can actually see some of this live data now on our data room. But like as we share more with the community, it'll be, I think, interesting for everyone to be able to see how this is changing, not just a static picture.
That is very interesting. Clearly, payments as a sector on chain is going up and to the right. Which of these 8 buckets, or even not listed, like are you most focused on, or perhaps most excited about? At WalletConnect, do you focus on the growing certain ones of these over others? I am curious how you think about it.
Yeah, I think like Wallet Connect's infrastructure is really here for everybody to be able to build with and build on. We have, products in all different platforms, Unity for gaming, we have all different mobile and native platforms. So it's very much like an open source platform that we want everybody to be able to use. I do think that like the intersection of traditional finance and kind of crypto finance is growing, and that makes it an interesting market for us. But I also just like philosophically deeply believe in self-custody, and I want self-custody to be able to participate in this new evolution of traditional finance. And so some of the work that we can do around bringing great payments experiences, for example, to all self-custodial wallets is a really important part of, I think, how the industry will grow. So that's also particularly, I guess, close to me from a strategic perspective, because unless we have these shared standards and these ways that wallets can interact compliantly with traditional finance, my worry is that they get kind of cut off and you can only use custodial wallets. So there's also, I think, a bigger part of our mission at Wallet Connect, which is around making sure that like self-custody can continue to engage with the finance world.
And there is a view, and I agree with it, that is going to continue to be a more important part in our crypto ethos going forward as more institutions come in, as the broader space becomes more institutionalized.
Yeah,
that self-custody is going to continue to be a critical part, and perhaps one that's slept on a bit, but we're going to see a renaissance, so to speak.
Yeah, I really hope so. I mean, that's why I think a lot of us are in this space, is so that people have that right and that ability to have control and choice with what they do with their assets. So more important than ever that we think about that.
And the other aspect of the recent news for you all, this partnership with DTC Pay. So I'm curious to dig into that and exactly what that means.
Yeah, so DTC Pay is an Asian payments company, and we've been partnering with them for a little while now to release one of the kind of like first widespread payments use cases, which is like an in-store product so that people can pay at a point of sale with any of the wallets on the Wallet Connect network. So here you'll go into a store that's using DTC point of sale devices. On that point of sale device, you'll see a Wallet Connect QR code. And with any of the 700 different wallets on the network, you'll be able to scan that QR code to make a payment. Instead of tapping your card or tapping your phone for Apple Pay, you can now pay with your crypto wallet. That for me is like super exciting. We've always over the last couple of years had a lot of wallets that are connected to cards, for example, and that allows you to pay in store with crypto effectively. But we're still giving like big funds there to the card schemes. People are still paying card fees to process those transactions. So having this like direct interaction where I can just scan a QR code and effect a payment is really, I think, very exciting. We have a couple more POS companies that we're working with on similar initiatives. The underlying for that is also that we've done a lot of work on what the end user flow looks like. So where Wallet Connect has had historically these different flows of like you make a connection and then you sign a separate message, and you need to kind of think about what chain, what asset. The innovation that we've done with DTC Pay, something called the Wallet Pay standard, which is a new chain agnostic standard that we've been working on with a lot of the wallets on the network, means that as those wallets start to adopt these standards, we'll just have like a much simpler payments experience for end users. It will be simple, scan, and pay, removing a lot of the complexity that we see today when you're using a crypto wallet.
I'm personally super excited about this. And I do think it's one of the final unlocks for enabling a crypto standard for us to operate on, where you don't have to think about moving crypto to fiat in your bank account, where you can actually spend it well. And I know we have these crypto credit cards. They aren't super usable in the US just yet. Like they all have kind of their flaws to a degree. They'll still decline places. I don't think we had the full unlock yet. But this feels like we're getting close to that unlock. When I can scan a QR code and use on-chain crypto to pay for things, that's going to be huge.
Yeah, I think for me, the like wide scale adoption of crypto and not needing to like on and off ramp into fiat is just about this moment where we're going to reach critical mass. Where today, like most of the time, it's really hard for me to use my crypto, and so I tend to off ramp and use more traditional methods. Similarly for businesses, most businesses today find it really hard to like pay their invoices with crypto. I think that though, as we start to see some of these pieces kind of fall into place, so like very easy payments online, very easy payments in store, easy B2B payments. Once that reaches this like critical mass, it won't make sense for me to off ramp anymore or to use like a card that ultimately runs on traditional rails. It will make sense for me, whether I'm a consumer or whether I'm a business, to basically just like keep and hold and use my crypto in crypto form. And that's the cool piece, I think.
I think it's very cool, and I am excited for it. So I'll applaud you for building that and driving it forward. So I think it's huge for everyone in the space. Maybe one final question here. We're nearing time. I'm curious, like, how do you feel about the overall energy in crypto right now? Do you feel it building? I don't want to lead you on, but I'm curious for your take.
I mean, I've been in this space long enough to see the ups and downs. I don't think I've ever been more optimistic, let's put it that way. I'm always surprised at the number of people I know from TradFi who message me being like, I'm starting a new role in crypto, or I want to get into crypto. So that we have this like talent influx right now. We have more interest than ever, I think, from bigger companies who actually want to use crypto as part of their core product. And I think this has been like the big shift over the last couple of years. When a big company does something with crypto, it's not like a press release and something off to the side just so that they look cool, but actually like it's payments companies, it's big gaming companies who are doing like real substantive things using this technology. So you have talent, you have like real usage, and of course, like where you get those two things, you also get investment and like money flowing into this space, which is funding greater innovation and adoption. We're always going to see these ups and downs. It's kind of part of the game, but yeah, I'm incredibly optimistic and feeling really great about it.
If the crypto revolution was a whisper before, it is a roar right now. Like it is loud and getting louder. We'll certainly appreciate everything you've shared with us here, Jess. Anything you want to leave our listeners with? Anything they should be looking out for here in the near future?
I mean, we have, you mentioned at the beginning that we seem to be shipping. I couldn't be more proud of the Wallet Connect teams. And we have a lot more coming up in terms of announcements over the next little while, both in the payments and the crypto space. WalletCon, which is our big conference for wallets and the whole industry in Argentina, is coming up in November alongside DevConnect, so people can join us there. And follow us on Wallet Connect on any of the like Twitter or LinkedIn or anywhere else to like keep up, because hopefully most of your listeners are also users of us, and we appreciate feedback on that too.
Absolutely. Well, Jess, it's been incredible having you on the show. Thank you for joining us. Folks, go follow at Wallet Connect if you aren't already. We appreciate your partnership as always.
Thanks, Tyler. Thanks for having me.
Excited for everything you guys are building. Bye. Folks, that is going to be it. That will be our show here for today. I want to thank you all for tuning in. I want to thank our partner at Wallet Connect. And wow, Jess, she is just incredible. Such a lovely person. And if you check out what Wallet Connect is building, they are building some really cool things. So I am genuinely excited about that. We will be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. The whole crew will be back. Farouk will be back. Mando will be back. Till then, have a beautiful day.